Hi Anne-Marie, so this is just a quick tutorial video on how to access your website and how to make some simple changes. So the first thing is I've sent you an email, and on that email is a link and a username and a password. If you click on the link and you put in the username, which does need to be in all capitals, pop in the password and then you click sign me in. That will then basically bring you to this screen here. You can ignore everything over on the right hand side about notifications and things, forget all of that. All you're looking for is on the left hand side, you click where it says websites. That will bring up a little thumbnail of your website, and then if you basically click that, that brings up another thumbnail, and if you scroll down below that, you'll see edit website and click on that. So that will load Bramble, which is the software that I've used to build the website. There's a few really key things that I'm going to tell you now, which are things you don't want to alter or change. So the first thing is at the top of the screen, and I'm not going to hover too near it because there's no undo button here, there's a little trash can which allows you to delete pages. Stay well away from that trash can because if you click it, it removes the page, but it also removes the backup of the page. So that page is then permanently gone. And there's no undo feature for that. So the first tip immediately is never go anywhere near the little trash can at the top of the page because it will wipe the page. So that's one big tip. Don't delete any pages, even if you think the page is old or you think it's no longer needed. Just leave the pages as they are. That's quite important for search engines and for the menu and for making sure there's no broken links and things like that. So tip number one, don't delete any pages. Tip number two is don't rename any pages either. Because if you start renaming pages, it breaks the sitemap, it can mess with the search engine side of things. So yeah, two massive tips immediately is don't click the trash pan and delete any pages, and don't rename any pages either. They're the two big tips. So what you'll notice is Bramble will load the home page first of all. You'll see lots of strange symbols and spaces, and the slider will be repeated. You can basically just ignore all of that. They're just ways that the site's been set up to behave on tablets and on phones and on the computer version. So if it looks strange in Bramble, don't worry. It's just how it's set up. So you can make simple changes by clicking each area. So again, actually, this is another important thing not to change as well. At the bottom of each page is these bars with keywords that have been submitted to Google. So don't alter any of those as well, please, because that's really important for your search engine optimization. But yeah, you can click a different area. So for example, if you wanted to upload your 2025 brochure, you could change that text. You could click on the brochure here and you can click change image. Drop your new image on top there. You may then need to resize it using this slider on the right hand side if it's too big. But if you're getting into problems with images, which quite a few people do because they're not familiar with Photoshop, so they can't resize them, the best thing is if you get stuck with photographs, just let me do photographs for you. Particularly if photographs are in a row. So for example, in the slider, there's 3 in a row and those images are all the exact same size, so they fit the slider properly. If you start uploading portrait ones or ones that are thinner or narrower, the slider is not really going to cope with that. So really the slider images and the images that are in a row, they're best left to me. Individual images that are sitting on their own, by all means, you can have a go. You could upload an image there. It might be too big. You could ask, for me to make it smaller for you, and I can go in and do that. But at least you'd be able to upload it yourself, and then just wait for me to resize it properly. So you can make image changes. I always say to most people though, if you don't have Photoshop, it's not something you're familiar with, and you're not sure about resizing, probably avoid changing any images. Yeah, everything you click gives you the ability to then edit that particular section or information, much like you would a Word document. If you wanted to add something to the list here, the best way to do that is copy and then paste and then type in whatever it is that you want to add, and that keeps the format all the same. So really, Bramble is designed to be quite straightforward. So you can go through, you can swap order of images using the drag feature. So if you decided actually you'd like to swap the order, you'd click and move, and you can move the order, change it around. Again, this looks strange because it slides between the different people's feedback. So again, just ignore that. Anything like that you're not sure about or it doesn't look right, just basically ignore it. Yeah, so really it's quite straightforward. Each section that you click, you're able to edit. The green bar comes up and shows you. So you can have a look at this and make no damage. So obviously I've made some changes here, which I don't want to keep. So as long as I don't click publish at the top, which I'm not going to do, then basically my changes won't be saved. So if you get into a muddle, you get into a mess, you're not sure what you've done, basically the tip is don't publish the changes. You can just exit, you can leave. And then basically, because I didn't publish those changes, when we go back in, everything's exactly as it was and no damage has been done. So yeah, if you're not sure about what you've done or you think you've made a mistake, exit, don't publish, you're all good. If you do go into Bramble and there's a message saying there's an autosave version of the page, it'll give you the options to use the autosave or discard it. Always discard it, because if it's auto-saved and you haven't told it to save, chances are it's auto-saved something with changes you don't want. So if you ever get a message that says that, click the discard button. So yeah, really straightforward. To access different pages, because obviously Bramble loads the home page, if you want to access other pages, you click up in the top here. Now there are loads of pages that are titled copy at the start. They actually are needed. They're gathering you more hits via Google and search engines. They're like hidden behind the scenes pages. So don't delete or edit any of those. Just ignore those ones. The actual pages are titled Speedway and then the name of the event. So you can see if each one, for example, if you wanted to alter the Speedway Sweden Grand Prix, you click that. You're suddenly in that section. You could then change the date, the year, where it was. You could then go in and change all this information as you needed to, where the flights are coming from, the itinerary, the prices. So yeah, once you go into you mentioned that changing hotel details, so you could change the photograph and drop a new photo in here. You could change the text on the right. So yeah, it's quite straightforward. So everything that's labeled Speedway first, they're the pages that you're actually trying to edit. Anything that says copy in front of it, ignore those, and then scroll down to these ones here where it's got the word Speedway in front. So yeah, I think that probably covers about as much as we need to go through. You can now access the website, you can now make text changes, you can now change details for each of the individual Speedway events, so it gives you access to that. The biggest tips, like I said before, is don't delete pages, don't rename pages, don't publish any changes that you're not sure about. If you're struggling with images, obviously do what you can and let me know, or don't do anything and just email me and I can sort images out for you. But yeah, the biggest tip for all my customers is don't go too experimental and play around with font sizes and sort of redesign the website, but much more concentrate on making those small little changes that you want to make yourself. And then obviously you have support from me should you want to do other things, such as add new pages or deal with images. So you might need to watch this video back, but hopefully it gives you enough to get you up and running and does everything you need for now. So thanks for watching.